pretty much been awkward always. And I spent so much of my 20s and teens trying to be what I thought I should be versus just being, which is a much simpler process. And so that was one of the things I remember waking up on my 30th birthday and being like, 99% of the stuff I was worried about doesn't even matter. I'm not doing this anymore. And each day became a step further into who I was supposed to be before the world got a hold of me and tried to tell me who else to be. And so my 30s has been that. It's been this shedding of what should not be and shining a light on what is there and being content with that and happy with that. And so I'm very quick to tell students in particular, like, I was a late bloomer. Like, I became popular now. I got to do things now. I get invited to stuff now. But I can enjoy it more because I am getting invited as me. I can show up as myself fully. I'm not projecting an image or worrying about what people are thinking or saying because you knew who you invited to the party and that's who showed up. And I remember asking, like, God, why? Like, why is this it? I don't like this. And it was, well, you weren't who you were. And so if people start to find out who you are and they walk away, you can't be mad at them because what they committed to wasn't real, right? And so it's like, oh, they're rejecting the real me. It's like, maybe they would have liked the real you had you shown them that from the beginning, but you can't be like, okay, so this the real me now, and you got a deal. Like, that's not fair. Like, be genuine and be honest up front. Started off like on this path of discovery. Like, there were things I had said I didn't like. I was like, do I really not like them? Let's see. Some stuff I really didn't like. But other things I was like, actually, I don't mind this. This can be a part of who I am. And giving myself the chance to explore. It was like almost like being a kid again. I love seeing kids discover the world and like figure out like, oh, I'm gonna keep this. Oh, no, y'all can keep that. I got a redo. I got to do a redo and catch up to myself. And it has been probably the most freeing thing I've ever done. And so I have a friend said a phrase and I put it on a t-shirt because I like a good t-shirt. And it said, you can never tell a black girl how to black girl. Right? And the reason that sets so well with me is because there are things that I do that don't fit who people think that I am. And I just like, you're just discovering another part of me. That's all. I'm a black girl that likes to tan. Have you seen my chocolate? It is amazing. Right? I'm a black girl that travels with the Cabbage Patch Kid, but who can also read you down about politics, about the Bible, about so much else in life. Like, both things can exist. I can be childlike and be a badass bitch who can, go out into the world and make great change. They don't have to exist separately. They can all live in me, and you can't be a better Kristen than me. So I get to tell you who Kristen is. You don't get to tell me that. And, when you walk in that level of authority on yourself, it opens some doors, it closes some doors. But those were doors I probably shouldn't have walked through anyway, because they would have wanted me to minimize what God made to be lived out loud. I ain't got time for that. College is a thing. A diploma is a thing. And if it makes sense for you to get that thing, then get it. But don't let not getting that thing stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. Because purpose trumps paper any day of the week. And I walked through many a door without the paper because it was a part of me fulfilling my purpose. And I got the paper, and guess what? Nothing changed. Why? Because I was already doing what I was supposed to do. And I think God had to get me to a place where that paper didn't validate me. It wasn't proof of my intelligence. It wasn't proof of my worth. It wasn't proof of my value, of my expertise. So now I have this degree, and when I say what it's in, people be like, wait, what? I'm like, right, it's a whole lot of fancy to say I'm doing what I've been doing. Because I was in purpose for a while now. And I'm still in purpose. I know what I want to do, and I don't, this is a conversation I was having last night. Like, black people don't know ease in our functioning. Everything is a fight. Everything is a struggle. Everything is a push. And it's not a burden of being black. It's the burden of white supremacy against black bodies. Like, I love being black. I don't want to be nothing but a black girl. Have you seen black women? Okay, great, thanks. I don't want to be anything other than who I am. I just want the world to see who I am and see the value that's inherent in that. So I like superhero movies. Not a huge movie person, but I do like superhero movies. And one of the things that has stuck with me is in the X-Men origin story. You know, in the first part of the movie, Mystique is presenting this cute little white girl. Hey. Right? And then she's working out and Magneto throws a weight at her. And for her to catch the weight, she has to let go of the image. She has to be herself. Otherwise, the weight's going to knock her out. Right? And I was like, how much am I not catching? How much am I not carrying? How much am I not doing because I want to uphold an image or because I'm putting all this energy into fighting to even get through the door? I'm not exerting energy that way anymore. I'm going to shake the dust off my feet and I'm going to go through the door that's welcoming to me. And I just know that more doors will be welcoming with the rest of this information and this knowledge that I attained through this process. The relationship I have with my mom has been so beautiful in my 30s. It was like in my mid to late 20s, I was like, oh, you know, she's a person. Not my mama, but just a person. And getting to know Deborah Ann more and more makes me want to know her more and more. And getting to know my grandmother through Deborah Ann and getting to know the rest of my family through my mom has been really beautiful. She has taught me some stuff, and she says it so casually. She's so rude, right? She's like, oh yeah, da-da-da-da. And she's like, what? When were you gonna tell me that? Oh, you didn't know that? How would I know? Rude. So it's been like a scavenger hunt that I didn't even know I was on or even wanted to be on. And so like, you can catch me calling my mom 2-3 times a day and I know she'd be tired of me. I'm like, I like talking to you. It's the highlight. What you doing? Because there's beauty in every conversation. So that's been really fun. Our cross-country road trip was, I think maybe that was one of the first times I truly understood like what I could do and the power of intention and purpose, and how if you really lean into it, not only do you carry yourself on an adventure, you get to be a part of other people's adventures. Going to Rwanda. Oh my God, and that was just last year. That was a year ago. It has permanently changed me as well. And I remember the minute we got off the plane and my feet touched the ground, I cried. And I was like, not only was like, I'm in Africa, it was like, I am home. And throughout that Rwandan experience, I had a very unique experience in the middle of that experience of people saying I was Rwandan. Now I'm on a trip with 17 people and no one else had this happening. And there were people who were really like, it was a family we visited, and the father, when we were leaving, they were just such a gracious family, so beautiful, loving. I mean, they had us all weeping by the time we were done. He was coming to hug us and say goodbye. When he got to me, he was like, you are Rwandan. You're Rwandan. I mean, he was adamant about it. I was like, okay, I'm from Detroit, but whatever, like, go off. And then we did a lunch with the staff of the organization we went with. And I remember going to sit at a table with some people and they were like whispering when I got there. And so that's anybody. If you've ever had an insecurity, if you go to sit down at the table, people start whispering or speaking in another language, you're going to be like, so that's about me. What's good? And I was like, I want to laugh. Tell me, like, I want to laugh too. Like, but I'm like, what you saying? Right. And the girl was like, if you didn't open your mouth, no one would know you weren't one of us. Graduating from college was huge. It was a story 20 years in the making. And it was like, I got to write a new testimony. It's like, yes, purpose trumps paper any day of the week. And I've been walking in purpose faithfully and fully. But at any point in time, you can go back and rewrite an old chapter and finish it the way you want to. Building relationships with students and being able to be supporting characters in little chapters of their stories has been really beautiful. Jessica's beautiful girl, she's biracial, but she spent most of her time with the white side of her family. That's just who she grew up with. And over the course of that 10 days, we built a very strong relationship. I helped her go find black hair care products. Like, we got to take the van and do a Target run. And then I twisted sis hair for that. And I was like, we don't go to bed like this. This is what we need to do. And just was able to really speak into her. And so at the end of that experience, we would do this campfire thing. And people would like just share these moments and how different people impacted them. But she said, I can finally say that I'm a proud black woman. And it's because of you. She said, I never would have thought that I needed to say that. But now I can say it confidently, and it's because of you. And I was like, bring it in, you know, kind of thing. But it was 10 days. That's a life-changing moment, you know, in her story, to say that I don't have to not fully embrace one side because of the other. Like, I can be fully who I am. Because I'm comfortable with me, it makes it easier to create comfort for other people as they work to be themselves. And I've had a couple of friends tell me, like, I appreciate you because you don't make me choose who I am. You just let me be. Because I love you. I don't love you performing someone else because that's who people want you to be. There's beauty in you. And I like what I see. Why would I want you to be anything else? I want to see how dope I really am in the completion of this part of my story. Like, I feel like there is some more shedding. There is some more standing in my authority and my power, asserting who I am without feeling like I have to pull back or hide because of how people will label it. You know, I definitely see the like angry black woman trope. I was like, well, the better question is to ask me why I'm mad. That's the better question. You're saying it as if anger isn't righteous. Anger can be very righteous. You would do better to find out what has me upset because I'm actually a pretty chill individual. And so that's a level of authority and like walking that out where you don't feel like you have to switch the narrative because somebody tries to make it negative. It's not negative. It just is. Thank you for being observant and noticing that I'm angry. What's your next step? Because as I already said, as I am more empowered to be who I am, I'm equipped to empower other people. And there are people who I want to get to this place far sooner than I've gotten here. Because they will literally set this thing on fire with their light and with their beauty and with what they have to offer. I don't want to miss out on any of it. So that's what I want to know. What does it look like when you really, not the places that you're comfortable, when you're completely uncomfortable and you still stand in it. Like, well, this is where we are. So what we gonna do? You know, I was a little harsh with somebody apparently. Somebody had to point it out for me. And I didn't apologize. I said, you know what? Wasn't my intent. But impact over intent. So I apologize. That's a level of maturity, right? Because making a mistake or doing something wrong is actually not an indictment on who you are as a person. And being able to separate like the core of who I am from how certain actions are perceived helps me to own it better. Because it's not an indictment on me. Like I told somebody, you can look good or be excellent. And if you focus on being excellent, you don't have to worry about what looks good because excellence always looks good. But if you focus on looking good, you will miss opportunities to be excellent because you're not okay with looking bad in the process. But when I was content with knowing that my brilliance is never in question, the question of my brilliance isn't on the table. The question of this process might be, but not my brilliance. And so now that I can separate the two, people look at me and always see something beautiful to look at because my focus is the excellence, not the look. And so, you know, when you manage a character, you don't have to manage a brand. Just to keep it really simple, you know, the world's been a dumpster fire in a lot of ways for a lot of people. And I'm not a person who can be like, well, I'm okay, so it's okay. I don't believe that's true. Like, I believe we are all supposed to have a measure of joy and peace. And so there is a level of empathy that I have that when I see people hurting, it's hard for me to be good, you know? So I want some peace and some joy and some ease. I want to see people's stories of triumph, of beauty, of winning. And, you know, I get really excited when people are winning. Like, I don't have to have the win to feel the win. And so that's what I want to see more of, is people intentionally going after their joy, people intentionally going after their peace, people intentionally going after the life that they want to live and not being afraid to share it because other people aren't experiencing it. Myself included. A comment I made yesterday and something else I may get a chance to work on was like, we always look at life as a single narrative, which is our narrative, right? Which makes the most sense because it's the narrative that I'm living. I'm the star, you know, I'm the protagonist. This is my story. But the truth of the matter is while you're living your narrative, you are intersecting with all these other narratives. And so I may get a sentence, I may get a word, I may get a whole chapter in someone else's story. I want it to be a really good one. So while it is absolutely all about me, it is absolutely not at all about me.